Right. So today we are going to discuss about the data analysis or data analyst. Because as we all know, whenever we are working on the IT environment, there are different analysis roles will be there because analysts are the people who analyze the situation. Okay. Normally, the first one analysis. Let's understand what exactly analysis is all about. Analysis is all about understanding a business situation, data, enterprise, etc. So this is what general analysis is. So analysis is something which is a common word which normally we use in the field of IT, right? So there are different business analysts we require in the field of IT because whenever there is an application development will be taken place, there are different application developments will be there, right? So some people may work for cloud applications. Somebody may be using some on-premise applications, right? So somebody may be using remote applications, at the same time enterprise applications, all that. So irrespective of the type of application they use, there must be some analyst roles which plays a vital and important role in analyzing different situations across IT industry. So there are different analyst roles which normally be there in the field of IT. The first one is called business analyst because this one we have already discussed earlier. So what exactly we business analysts do was discussed. Second, we call it as quality analyst because business analyst majorly focusing on the business requirements. So for that, what kind of tools, skill sets, and all everything we have discussed already. Next, quality analyst. Quality analyst majorly focusing on understanding the quality of the work which team is doing. Means what quality of work they are performing so far. So for that, what kind of procedure and process to be required to follow. All these things are comes under quality analyst. The next we call it is data analyst, right? So before I'm getting into data analyst role, let me explain you what data analysis is all about. See, for example, if you want to take some decision in any enterprise, let's say, for example, there is a retail company which they wants to know about the customer perception because what kind of products customer is taking more. At the same time, the mood of the customer, they want to know about this so that whatever the decisions they wants to take in future and all everything is something relating to that. So in that context, what is required? There must be a concrete confirmation of the evidence for something which they have to be decided because this is not something decisions as well as the business planning is not something based on assumptions. Normally we don't do that. In any organization, any enterprises, they want to know about what could be the possible expansion or possible growth of the business, or they want to know about the predictives, all that, right? So they want to know about prediction about the future, all that. There must be some concrete information or concrete systematic approach is what something which organizations has to follow. So this is where generally we call it as data analysis stands for. So data analysis is something which majorly works on the data. Majorly works on the data, right? So this is what generally data analysis stands for, irrespective of the type and kind of data it was. Majorly data analysis something which works on the data. As I have taken an example, let's say if you're taking a retail shop, right? So there are different products on day-to-day basis customers are purchasing. So there is huge amount of data which will be available with us, right? So how many people have purchased the product so far, right? So their contact, their name, contact details, how much cost of money they have invested to purchase those products. And at the same time, which product is moving faster, which product is moving slower, right? So if you remember when I discussed about the business analysis, I told you there are required to prepare some reports, right? So there are required some reports to be generated. Based on the reports and all, they will be taken subsequently. Decisions will be taken on the business. That's what I said. So how these reports will be generated? These reports will be generated based on the concrete data which is available in the store or in any organization. This is where generally data analysis come into picture, right? So data analysis and all. Normally, this data will be in different formats. Usually, it can be data can be in Excel format because large scale of data, whatever are we managing or maintaining and all everything will be on the Excel also. Because file formats may be different, either it can be XML or JSON, different file formats will be there. But in context to the data analysis itself is concerned, there is large scale of data which is available. So which is required. Normally this data and all everything will be managed using some Excel, right? So this is how generally data will be available. Let me show you. Yeah, this is where generally data is available, right? For example, you want to know about, right? So you want to know about the gender submission, right? So this is where generally data is available. So gender submission, yeah. Yeah, for example, furniture prices, right? So this is how generally the data will be available. So name of the what kind of furniture. This is the data I've taken for furniture price prediction, all that, right? So they want to know about the data, right? So what are the different types of data do we have? At the same time, what is the rate of it, right? So what is the delivery, sale, at the same time, price, percentage, right? So all these things will be there in the data. This is where generally data is being maintained. And whatever the data organizations maintain in different parts or in different forms, one of the prominent form of data which organizations normally uses is all comes under Excel, right? So Excel is the primary element and a primary aspect which majorly data works with, because whenever we are working on something and all, Excel data is one of the primary element, because a person who is working on data visualization, let's say for example, organizations they wants to visualize the data, right? So for the data visualization purpose, they may require to use some Power BI, Tableau, and all that tools. Or else they want to extract some information from the existing database, right? So further, they want to write some queries, insert, update, delete, right? Modify all that. So further, they require some data so that whatever the extracted information they want to take out of it, so will be taken by them subsequently. In the same manner, whenever we are talking about data analysis is a concept which majorly focusing on the data perspective. So, person who is going to perform these activities is what generally we call it as data analyst. The role is what generally it was. So, data analyst, if you are a data analyst, your major and final responsibility is to analyze the data. What are the kind of data is it available with us? So based on the data analysis, whatever the decisions will be taken by the organizations will be happen subsequently. So there must be a concrete confirmation over the status has to be presented. It's a standard presentation, standard decision to be taken. So if you want to take a standard decision, for sure you need to have a concrete information over the data what we are working on. So this is where generally data analysis come into picture. So the kind of role which will be played by the individuals across industry is called data analyst. Of course, there are different other analysts also. We have other analysts called financial analyst, all that. That's not something required, because financial analyst means who analyze the financial performance of the organization. So by understanding the financial statements within the organization, their balance sheets, profit and loss accounts and all. So how the organization is performing, right? So what are their assets and liabilities? So what is their operational cost, current assets, fixed assets, right? So what are the loans which are existing with them, right? So how the operational cost is increasing based on the turnover, right? So to know about the financial performance, what are the analysis they do is all comes in a financial analysis. So of course, that is not something relevant for our this thing, so that I'm not getting into that. So majorly, these are the three major roles will be there in the field of IT. One is business analysis, which we discussed already. Second, quality analyst, which was discussed even. Majorly works on the quality of the data, what we have taken, etc. All that. The third one about data analysis. Data analysis majorly works on the data. As I've told you, there are different Excel sheets and all, everything are available. So based on the Excel, whatever the sheets we have taken, whatever the data are we going to analyze and take the decisions and all, everything is what something we do. But if we want to do that, there are different techniques we have to follow, because it must be a scientific way of approach. This is not something based on our assumptions we are taking decisions, nothing of that sort. There are different ways of doing some testing, all that. So scientific way of approach. People who are, if you know, because people who do statistical, because you know about statistics, right? Statistics. So in that statistics, one way of doing the testing and one way of doing the analysis of data by the statistical people is all about chi-square testing, weighted average, mean, median, variance. All these are comes under statistics. That's all comes under statistical part of it. But when it comes to the field of IT, of course, if anybody is having a strong knowledge over statistics, is helpful for data analyst roles. But we cannot generalize that, right? Because some people may have knowledge over statistics, depends on the profile, educational qualification they comes with. Otherwise, when it comes to the working of IT and all, there are different tools we are using. It's something like Python, R programming, at the same time Excel, right? So these are the different tools which normally we are using to analyze the data. Because especially, let's say, for example, when we are working on some web client server, enterprise, enterprise, enterprise applications, the programming language we use is called Java. Okay, that's what generally Java programming language. Because if you want to develop any business logic and all, there must be some code we have to write. So to write the code and all, whatever the programming languages we are going to use, everything will be based on the Java. This is point number one. Second, when we are working on the data, okay, when we are working on the data part, when we are working on the data part, to analyze this, I mean to say data analysis related projects, we use a programming language called Python. Because the reason why, because one must be having a clear understanding, because most of the people confuses here. Because when the programming language of Java will be used, when the programming language of Python is being used. Normally, Java is a programming language, which is mother of all the programming languages nowadays. The basic is this. Of course, earlier we have assembly level programming, C, C++ and all, it was started, but Java is eternal. It is there for years and years together. It remains even in future. So Java is a programming language which majorly used for the applications when we are developing like web applications or client server applications or enterprise applications and all. The kind of programming language we use is called Java. But now when it comes to the data analysis projects, because nowadays, as I told you, an organization want to take some decision based on the performance of their organization, they want to take some decision in future. So for the betterment, or if they want to make any kind of changes, where the problem flaws are going on, right? How to rectify that. So for that, there must be a concrete information which they have to identify. So for that reason, whatever the data, available data in the organizations they were using, Using the data, what they want to do, they have to do some programming. They have to use a programming language, which is called Python, one of the programming language I'm saying. This is where generally the Python programming language was, I think it was there with me, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, right. So this is where generally this programming language, which is called Python, right? So Python programming language, which Python programming language majorly we used to write, because there are some basics of Python which we are going to learn in future, right? So in coming days and all, I'll show you how to work on Python programming and all everything we will be learning. And Excel and all everything is something. This is the version for Python, but what are the versions we have taken and all everything are the versions for this. Yeah, these are the versions, and yeah, this is where generally the programming language editor, right? So which is called Python here. So this is a Python language, Python programming language, which normally we use to uh, do some business logic for a particular data, whatever are we going to use. So major data analysis projects when we are working on. So for all the data analysis projects, there is a programming language which is called Python, but fortunate enough, Python is an open source which can be downloaded, can be used. So the reason why it is more popular. Python is one kind of programming language which you use. So some sort of hands-on experience in reference to data analysis is always important for you guys to learn. That's what we'll be doing in coming time. This is one thing. Majorly, I use this. This is the language which I use majorly. Because this is in the market also when we go for industry, people in reference to the data analysis and all, they use majorly Python. So my focus is on that. Next, we have Excel also, because Excel is there for a very long time. That is also one of the way to create, right? So because if you want to create any kind of dashboards, or if you want to do any calculations and all, on Excel we can do, because Excel is there for a long time in regular day-to-day operations in the business and all of that. That's what generally we are using. And one more programming language, which is called R programming. R programming is also one of the programming language which normally we are using for a very long time. So I think it must be there with me. Yeah, I think, yeah. So this is one of the programming language, which is R. This is also an open source programming language. This is how generally R programming language console works with. So these are the tools. Whatever I'm trying to say is this tools, as like as the tools we have used in business analysis. Because in business analysis, you know, right? So we have used different tools to support the business. So it can be Star Union, it can be Jira, right? So for project management, all those tools and all everything we have used. In the same manner, whenever we are working on quality analyst and all, there are different tools, as I told you. If it is manual testing, we don't require. But when it comes to the automation testing or manual testing, we have used a tool called Jiffer. So which is connected to Jira, I have shown last time. And recently past, we have discussed about Selenium part or JSON, etc. Right. So all these things I have discussed with you so far. So those are all the tools which are available for quality analysts. Now, when it comes to the data analysis, these are the two prominent tools. So one is Python tool, second is R programming. These are the two major tools which normally we use. But Python, R programming and all everything is a choosy thing, right? So because R programming, even though it's an open source, uh, some people, because due to the, I don't say it is complexity, due to the high level knowledge about this language and all everything, more than R programming, I can say people are using more of Python due to the flexibility or due to the success rate, whatever the main it can be. It's not only that, but so Python programming language majorly used by the people. Even job opportunities in reference to data analysis when we are working on, one should be having a clear understanding over the Python programming language and all everything for sure. So R programming is optional. It's usually if you have a Python and all, if you can get onto that. Next, some kind of basics about Excel is required, because whatever the data are we going to work, all this data whatever the data we are working on. So complete data and all everything is what something we are using on this only, right? So data we are using on this only, right? So Excel only the data will be used. So whenever we are using Excel and all, data is being used. So some part of basics of Excel is also essentially required. That is also needed for us. So these are the tools which normally we use in data analysis, major tools I'm saying, right? It's majorly prominent, especially for industry level perspective. So Python, R programming, Excel, some clinical related statistical tools, something like SPSS, some clinical reports and all, people use some SPSS tools. There are a lot of tools, right? So some tools are open source tools, some are paid tools, right? So all like that it will be. There won't be any free licensed softwares only we use. Otherwise, open source, anyone. So Python has an advantage because it is available easily. So the reason why it is more popular due to because of that reason. So whatever the programming of Python and all everything is what something you need to learn. Because it's not so hard, I can say, because I could see people who are enrolling and who are attending now. These people, I can see some people who are also from non-IT background. So when I'm going to teach you about programming, but of course for business analyst and quality analyst and all, we don't require programming because last time also some person has asked me. But for data analysis, it was not the case. Some basic programming skills and basic programming knowledge is important. So I'll teach you from the basics because I directly don't write the program and I'll show you. I don't do that because it leads to confusion to you so that you can't understand what is going on, all that. So as I can see, many people from non-IT, what I do, first of all, I'll start with programming basics because there are not long time to go because I have to cover you some basics of data analysis, etc. in other differences, all that. So once I have covered that part and all, slowly whenever I'm getting into the programming language, first of all, I'll give you an explanation about programming language, why and what for the programming language, what are the basic things you need to learn, right? Objects or classes, interfaces, right? So data structures, basics, like data structures are not even required, but classes, objects, interfaces, right? So what does it mean? Functions, classes, right? So these are some sort of knowledge is required. Some basic programming skill set and terminologies and jargons are essentially required. That's all I am going to teach you first. So once it is done, then slowly how the basic programming in Python we need to write. All these will be discussed and all everything from time to time. This is how generally data analysis is all about. So as to make it very short, data analysis is something which we need to know about what exactly data is all about, how we are going to examine the data, because this is what the slide is, right? So because if you want to provide any accurate information to understand implementing some business plans and all everything in future, it's always important for us to understand the data analysis. So for that, strong command over the basics over the data analysis is needed. What are the different sources of data available? What are all different tools are we going to use under data analysis? That is what something we need to learn first. So after that, basic programming skills are required. So based on the basic programming skills and all everything, after that, one must be knowing about what are the different, how to write programming in Python and all everything is what something you need to learn in coming days. That's what something which I'm going to teach you in coming days further, right? So this is all about the overall understanding about data analysis.